Hello everyone, welcome back to Tier 2 Talk. Josh, it's a new year, so I guess Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone at home and what have you. But it's February, so we're fucking slacking here. But we're back for another year of Tier 2 Counter-Strike. A lot has changed, I guess, heading into 2025 specifically at a Tier 2 level. Of course, we're joined today by the ECLOT guys, forsyy and ReTr00. How are you both doing?
Hello. We are good, I think.
Nice. Okay. Josh, obviously, I think this is like a normal segment in the shows at this point. We want to talk about sort of what's going on over the last while, at least for the teams that we've got on. Obviously,
Yeah.
for us, we're talking about heading into a new year and VRS and what have you. And I think we'll ask a couple of questions sort of after we've talked about the stuff that you want to discuss, and that's the changes, right? That obviously ECLOT has made over the last couple of months or so.
Yeah, but we could probably jump like towards the end of the year. I think just because a lot of teams made changes because of what happened at the end of the year. I actually wanted to ask you straight away, Replay as the coach of the team. Do you think last year was successful? Because I think from the outside point of view, a lot of teams look at ECLOT and they say won a lot of local lands, all those ones with like Sinners and Unity. You guys kept winning them. You qualified to the RMR as well in Shanghai. So overall, would you say last year was a good year?
Yeah, I think I would say that last year was a success, even though we couldn't finish it by qualifying to the major, but I think that we did pretty good.
Okay. And I mean, I know this is kind of like talking about an event, but the RMR forsyy, I mean, heartbreak, right? To be able to go that close and not get it over the line. Do you kind of want to just give everyone at home like just insight into what it's like to travel to China, what it's like to be around all the tier 1 teams, what it's like to be in that atmosphere? Because I think a lot of people were surprised about how, first off, there were 3 Czechoslovakian teams at the RMR itself, and how all of them actually pulled off some pretty good upsets and came quite close. So yeah, what was your kind of takeaway from the RMR?
I think it was amazing experience for everyone, like from Czechoslovakia. It was mainly like we qualified mainly because we have these LAN tournaments and we had the prize pool, so that was big part why we had even the chance to play the RMR qualifiers and we qualified. So yeah, thanks to Playzone for this. And yeah, it was amazing experience. Unfortunately, we didn't close it with qualifying for the major, but yeah, I think we were pretty close. If we finished the game with Fnatic, we were leading, I think 15-12 or something, we lost. So maybe if we win, we play Bad Boom, I think we would beat them, to be honest. But it's life, we didn't. So yeah, but other than that, we visit China, which is like I would never just go to China like for fun, like it's like it's awesome to have the opportunity, to travel there, and yeah, it was really nice.
Well, I want to kind of ask you right now, getting from your point of view, like talking about our, the new Valve system and everything, no RMRs by the seams of it. I mean, forsy's kind of talking about the 2-2 game they had against Fnatic, and then you go on to win that one. You're like, oh, you got 3 wins, but then you're not qualified to the major. You then got to play the 7th place decider. So, from your perspective, do you reckon it's a good thing that we've now just got rid of the RMRs?
No, I think like at a surface level, it is I think such a killer for tier 2 teams.
Okay.
I want to quickly. Do you know where you guys are in European rankings right now? Like according to Valve.
I think around 24, 25,
So
something like that.
so take for example the ECLOT as a team, right? You're like 24th. I think the whole point of the RMR is to basically create a bit of hype and sort of give teams an opportunity at every level effectively because of the open quals as well that lead into the RMRs. It's like every team effectively can qualify. And then obviously the hype around that is that you get all of these cutthroat games, you get a lot of upsets, a lot of interesting storylines. And I just checked there, they're 23rd in Europe, right? ECLOT as a team are 23rd in Europe. And if we're removing RMRs, right now, what is the chance that when we see a major, the 23rd team gets invited? Considering you've got to split it between the Americas, you've got Asia as well.
Yep.
Like you've got all different parts of the regions of the world that Valve need to accommodate. and with the Mongols doing so well and what have you, they've obviously unlocked extra slots for Asia, and that takes away from America and Europe, and obviously how the system works. It's like, realistically, you know, if Valve rankings were a thing last year, you know, heading into this major last year, like, do you see these teams at sort of a tier 2 level make the hero runs and get invited? You know, do we see 3 Czech teams at the RMRs? Do we see, you know, a lot of these tier 2 runs and a lot of the hope of sort of the second division of Counter-Strike be brought to the general audience? I think it's really shit, the way it's done. I think there should be some form of open qualification and sort of whittling down the numbers from that. I think killing the RMRs and making it all based on ranking is savage. Like, it's horrible to see, to be honest.
Well, I think the next major's Austin Blast, right? Which is like middle of this year. So we'll
Correct.
get a rough idea closer to the time to see how the whole process goes down. And then maybe this is a bit of a cutthroat question to you guys, but was the lack of qualifying to the major the reason that roster changes happened? Like, does it just come down to that?
I think I'm gonna answer that. Like we in ECLOT, we are not really like focused on making the major like other organizations. For example, the tier 1 organizations, they usually count that they will make the major. Otherwise, it's a big disappointment for them. But for us, it's more of a getting better, working locally, and getting there. Right now, for us, the RMR was a pretty big success. It made us seen by the European scene, like that Czech teams can compete internationally. And for us, it was not the deciding factor to go for the changes that we didn't make the major. It was just a coincidence, basically.
Okay, well, can you give us a bit of insight to why that was the case? I mean, to give everyone at home a bit of a picture here, Ryan, Kriaz, in-game leader, basically gets parted ways, and then Blitz, one of your star riflers, also goes. So it brings in the E-Live, who I know him and Mangus have kind of been like a duo for a long period of time in a lot of those like Czech, Slovakian teams. And then Mikey, who was on Unity, and then sort of it looked like he was playing with OG. It looked like he joined the squad. He was playing a lot of CCTs, a lot of events with them, ends up not joining OG, and then Spook goes there, so he goes back to Unity, and then he ends up going to you guys.
Yeah, so basically, ECLOT went international when I joined 2 years ago by bringing in an RCAS, because like the whole idea of ECLOT going internationally was because we first wanted to compete domestically with Sinners, who had the best Czech players available at the time. And you know how it is with contracts and buyouts, so you don't want to straight up go and buy someone's expensive players. So we basically work around that by bringing EU players, because our Czech competition allows us to have a core of 3 Czechoslovakian players and 2 international ones. So we still wanted to be competitive on the Czech and international scene, but we couldn't do it with Czech players back then 2 years ago, because we felt like there are no good options for us to pick up. So we worked around by bringing EU players. We started with Anarchas, and back then we were 4+1, like 4 Czech players and Anarchas. But we let him go at the end of 2023, and because forsyy was available, so we brought forsyy in, and we were all getting closer to the Czech lineup. But we were also dissatisfied with IGL options in the Czech market, so we decided to bring EU in-game leader and EU rifler, because we didn't want to play 4+1 anymore. We were like, it's not worth it. We can also get 2, and we can maybe have more firepower. So we also decided to bring Blitz. By the way, at the start of 2024, not everyone maybe knows that, but forsyy tried to be an in-game leader. When he came into the team, we were trying to work with him as an in-game leader, but then it was it was rough, you know, it was very rough. I think forsyy imagined it's gonna be too easy, but it was kinda difficult. So Kuras did us a massive favor, and he stepped into the shoes of in-game leader, even though he wasn't asked initially. But when I was building the roster, I saw this option maybe coming, because I just wanted to have a backup plan, and I knew Kuras would be up to it. So even though it was not ideal with forsyy, Kuras was up to the task, and he saved us a lot. So again, like, we brought 2 international players, so because there was still no good Czech options available. But at the end of 2024, we there was a like kind of more options opening up because B6 contracts was ending. Sinners IGL, the best checking game leader probably right now, or like over the last few years, and also Sampi closed their CS division because they just ran out of money. So Alive was also without a contract. He's a very good checking game leader for the last 5 years as well. He was also playing with forsyy back then in Enterprise days, and with also Matis, who is now playing for Fnatic, so experienced guy. And so we've decided that we probably have a decent shot at Czechoslovakian lineup, so we decided to bring in Czech IGL, and we saw potential in Mikey to be the aggressive space-taking type of player that Neofrag was in his prime Sinners days or early OG days. And we saw that he has a really big upswing in CS2. He got really better. He was like one of those guys who got really like boosted by CS2. So we decided to give a shot to Czech lineup according to the information that we thought that we could have competitive Czechoslovakian lineup also in the international scene and in the local scene. So basically, it has nothing to do with the major or with the result itself, because as I said, the year I would describe it, and most of the management in ECLOT would describe it as a success because we won, I think, 5 out of 6 Czech tournaments, pretty dominant, and we also got the Grand Slam, local Grand Slam bonus of some money. So, like organizationally, we were, I think, pretty satisfied.
Yeah, I just want to say quickly, Ryan, I think it's quite entertaining that history's been made with 3 Czechoslovakian teams making the RMR, and all of them have made changes going into the new year. No one's decided to keep the same 5 to move on.
But I think it was a pretty hard decision to change Kras and Blitz. Like it wasn't like easy, you know.
Yeah, it was. I think
like for me, like we got asked, like every player got asked, you know, and we were like 50-50. Like we didn't know because like me, I really liked Kras, and everyone was already like used to him calling. You know, we were pretty bad at the beginning with Kras, and like it wasn't working the team. But at the end of the year, we were like everyone was like on the same page, and everyone was comfortable. So it was pretty hard to change. Also, Blitz, you know, 120 rating or something, he was like destroying kinda, and he was a really cool guy. So like for me personally, I was like, I don't know, it was like 50-50 for me. If we kept them, I would be happy a lot. But you know, even if we changed, I'm like happy with, because I'm playing with Alive again, and Mike, you know, he's like really good. So, but it wasn't like easy decision.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else to add on this one, replay?
Yeah, like I just wanted to add that what forsyy says is true. It was the first time that I was like we were making changes in the team, and no one disagreed or agreed. Like everyone we asked was like, you make the choice. I don't care. Both of the options are really good, but I don't want to be the guy that makes the decision. You know. So basically, everyone's input was we are gonna be fine both ways, but it was actually really fucking hard because both of the Kras and Blitz guys, they are super cool guys. They both helped us really a lot.
See, that's just what they're telling us, right? They really all wanted them out. That was
they were counting down the days.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to really discuss on this bit, Ryan.
No, I guess maybe at a more broader level, what's your guys' opinion of the VRS system now, right? Because obviously we saw the drama at the start of the year. We're probably not going to touch on it too much, but with Yala not complying with VRS, and then obviously CCT, I think their first event this year didn't comply with VRS.
Yeah, Sky Sports as well, right? Like they tried to move the dates or whatever, couldn't happen. They were like, you have to run the event as unranked, and they just said, no, we're not going to do it. So cancel close qualifier, cancel LAN. So already within 3rd of February right now, we've had 3 different tournament organizers all at least cancel or put an unranked event on, which is crazy. Like that shouldn't really be happening.
I was going to ask, like, obviously with all of this happening, what do you guys think of the VRS system? I mean, for you, obviously being the way the VRS works, I guess, is for, you know, every team that doesn't accept an invite to a tournament, it comes down one. So if it's a European tournament like your CCT, obviously you guys, if the previous 21 people, 22 people don't get invited, you're the next team that can accept and get brought in. What's your opinion of VRS compared to what it was in 24, when it was just kind of like, you know, admins and people, the organisers check HLTV, they try and invite the good teams and hope that it works out?
You tell them first, I was speaking.
Uh, I don't really care, you know, but what is positive is that everyone gets invited, like based on ranking, you know. For example, we got somehow banned by CCT, like we didn't get invites by CCT, and we tried to like write them hundreds of messages, why and blah blah, and they don't care, you know. They just invite who they want. But now they have to invite us, you know. So it's kind of positive for us. Kinda, yeah. What can they do, you know? we will fucking play our tournament, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy for this. We have more opportunities, but on the other hand, like for I forgot actually what I wanted to say, bro. Actually, okay,
Well,
never mind.
I'm just kind of like going off of that and saying it's good for teams that have got a decent ranking, right? Like Nexus, they won what the ISF
Yeah.
LAN. They were like fucking top 30 in the world on the Valve ranking. That's insane for a team
Yeah.
like them to be that high. But what if you're like the new B&E, right? Or you're this new like Oscar
Yeah.
lineup, and you're literally a brand new team going into 2025? Mate, there's not that many open qualifiers. There's a
Yeah, that's
few,
true.
but you get knocked out in the round of 128 versus
Yeah.
cheaters. Okay, we
See you
play the
later.
next open qual 2 months later. Like, I actually don't know. Do fresh brand new lineups almost not become a thing anymore? I don't know. I legitimately
true.
don't know how you look at that in this
Yeah.
whole year.
I think it's interesting because if you're an investor, like you're an org, you know, say for example, like I think there was rumors that Carmine Corp were going to come to Counter Strike, right? And the only way now, if they wanna go even European, but as a French organization, the only way that they're going to get their name plastered in tier 1 events is if they buy a team that is in the top 30 in the world or top 30 in Europe or whatever, right? Like it's insane to me. You are dead right. Go on, replay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I didn't actually start anything, but like I think to the VRS there is also a lot of positives and negatives. Like we could talk about it for hours, I think. But
Yeah.
like for us as a ECLOT, for us it's good because we are ranked high, we are established. So finally CCT and Grid cannot do whatever they want, and they just need to invite us, and we are gonna be basically invited based on merit and not because some guy in office says that we are a match fixing risk or something. Even though we try to have a like normal dialogue with them for 2 years, no talking back at all. I still think that those people should be like I don't know somehow investigated by some bodies that are in the scene because I think they really hindered a lot of teams' progress over the last 2 years. Those I don't know how they call it, integrity team in Grid. I just wanted to say this piece. And also, yeah, like what you guys said, it's hard for new organizations to step in without buying a core who has a decent Valve ranking. But also there is a positive to that because I wasn't a fan of random organizations like ECLOT or I don't know, those type of guys who overpay players just to qualify for the major and disband 4 months later. Maybe not even pay salaries or some shady business. I think that's what Entropic tried to do for 2 or 3 years. They succeeded once, and they couldn't replicate with I don't know 2 or 3 more lineups or something. I was not fan of this. So now the new system promotes like long time projects that are getting better over time, and I think that's like fine. And when you talked about the RMRs, that it's not a thing yet, I think it like got a little bit rebranded because the MRQ is a little bit of a new RMR kinda. But if I understood it right, I didn't really like look into it much because my manager probably would say more. But I think if you get invited to the to the MRQ or something, how to even fucking spell it, you don't have stickers yet, right?
I have
That's
no idea. I could not tell you.
I'm not really sure whether top 32 teams in the world will get invited and instantly get stickers because I think the RMR got a little bit just rebranded to this MRQ thing, which can be held online as well. Like previously, it was usually offline. Now I think it can be also online by Valve rules. So I think RMRs are still a thing, just rebranded into this because I think you will still get invited to this thing, and then you need to you need to win 3 games or like go through that stage towards the major. I think you don't get stickers just by being top 32 in the world. Like stickers is what everybody wants, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think that RMRs are still a thing, and I think it was really, really fucking cool. There was a lot of upsets and a lot of storylines wrote by those underdog teams like us, or I don't know, Passion UA last year, or like I could name, BNE beating FaZe. It was like a really fun part of the cycle, I think.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how, you know, even at a tier 2 level how things operate because Obviously, you guys have probably had a look at it already, but I think we've got the Dallas quals coming up in like 2 weeks. But that's or even less time than that now.
I think so.
But that's like the only qualifier that was at least announced publicly for this year. And it's like, as you say, Josh.
You got the Blast quals
Yes, well,
for the
yeah.
Open, and other than Dallas, I think that's the only one so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say for ESL that's the only quali they've announced. For
Yeah.
Blast, like the only quali they've got is the stuff that they've got going with obviously the Relog guys and the Blast.
I think they've
Bounty
got
Showdown.
Asia, South America.
Yeah, and so realistically, there's not a lot on the table right now for people to seriously climb VRS points. But hopefully, you know, just as CS2, I guess, like as a whole general consensus is that we're always waiting, and you know, sometimes there is light at the end of the tunnel, and things will change. We'll see how that goes, though. At least we can talk about what's going on right now, though, Josh, right, with some ongoing events. We've got 2 events to talk about. We're starting with the European Pro League.
Which isn't Valve ranked, as far as I'm aware.
I don't think it is either, no.
It's not.
So from your perspective, what is the point in playing these tournaments? Is it for like the prize pool and to get officials under your belts? Because I think from Ryan and I's perspective, especially like with hearing what happened with Yellow Compass about being unranked, it's like, well, do teams really want to play in these kind of tournaments? Like, I feel like the level might start decreasing over the next few months if it's not ranked, or do you guys look at it differently?
I think it's really good because you, as new team, you practice, you know. But for example, us, we are like 30 something ranked, or I don't know, and we don't wanna instantly play ranked matches to lose points if we lose, you know. For us, it's perfect. You can win some nice money. You play HLTV matches, and yeah, it's just good officials. And even if we lose, we don't lose anything basically. So it's only positive for us. It's better practice, you know. I saw some post on Twitter from Beastic. He also said like something about this, and I agree with him. It's for us, it's really good, or for new teams, that it's not ranked. There are kind of good teams in it. You know, you have Aurora, you have, I don't know, Berizik, like Ensa Academy. I don't know. I see here, yeah, some nice teams, you know, which you can like good officials for you, you know. So I really like it actually, that it's unranked. I don't think it will lose its like quality, or it will disappear. I think it's really good.
I was gonna say, I think the tweet that I saw, the one that forsyy mentioned, was the fact that Beastic was saying, if these unranked events exist, you know, they can invite whoever because it's unranked. You don't have to comply with VRS, and B, you know, for example, with Train coming into the map pool, as a team, ECLOT might decide we want to start playing Train, and you can only get so much in practice on Train before actually facing teams in an official on Train. And, you know, there's another thing to all of this where if people check HLTV and you guys have played Train 3 times, you've won all 3 in unranked tournaments, you know, you can not necessarily create like a force field, but it's a bit of a placebo where it's like, do we want to be playing this map because they've been playing it in these events, they've been winning games and stuff like that. I think, as you say, it's just a chance for you to get the experience in an official environment, and also be able to try new things. We're not having massive repercussions for the rest of your season in CS, which is really interesting, at least in my opinion. But yeah, that's what I've got to say for this. Do we want to talk about the matches, maybe, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to look on the playoffs. I actually wondered, forsyy, from your point of view, do you reckon Endpoint are done? Because I actually thought they had a really rubbish last year, and they still haven't really made any changes. I mean, going out to Gen 1, lower bracket round 1, I actually can't remember the last time I've seen Endpoint go in a deep run in like any of these tournaments. So from my perspective, I think they're really finished. Do you think that as well?
I remember Endpoint was always kind of like team who can beat better teams, but now they are, I don't know, somehow pretty bad. I think they have like not good players. I think like Sayot, or how he's called, he was pretty good on start of CS2, but now he's like not good. And their Opera, I think he's not as good as well. I think Mighty Max is really good IGL, to be honest. I think this guy is pretty good, but like their 2 players, they're like average, I would say. But like Serial, Azu, and Mighty Max, I think they're good. Overall, Endpoint was always good team, but now they, yeah. I don't know if they are finished, but they need to, I think, make some changes, you know.
Yeah,
They were always beating some nice teams and they were always competitive, but now they are just, I feel like, I don't know, like not free win, but they are like not good.
I just look at this team, Ryan, and I think there's not one player out of that 5 that actually looks scary. Like I look at the previous endpoint lineups, and I go,
Yeah.
"Oh shit!" Like they got inerts, they got flames, like they got someone that's gonna hit hard. I look at this 5 and just think, man, it's just mid. Like it's just
Yeah.
it doesn't have a lot going for it at all. And I'm really surprised in the Christmas break that we haven't seen a single change. There's a lot of free agents out there. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. I don't understand why a team like this doesn't pick some random Russian guy. There are so many like good players, not Russian, like whoever, you know, but there is so many CIS good players or from any nationality that are free and they are like destroying. You know, I think Mighty Max, if he picks up some young guy who is like upcoming, you know, I think it would be much better than to take some player like, I don't know, like they have, you know, some Sayat or something like this who is like
Yeah.
not as good anymore, you know, unfortunately. So I think if they give chance to someone new, Mighty Max will start calling good again, or like the team will work and they would be much better team. I don't know why they don't make changes actually.
Yeah. Even looking at Tanir, right? Like it looked like he was just going to be a sub for Heroic before Nilo gets in, and straight away, shit, he's actually quite good on Heroic, right? He's just going to stay.
Yeah.
So it's the whole message of that. Yeah, I don't know the Preezy team. I haven't casted any of Preezy since they basically had the Roy Nikodos team. I know that's gone through. Quite a few. I suppose same for Aurora as well. Like they got Patsy now from Paravision, and then obviously Deco. Well, Deco's Deco, isn't he? So he's out of there. Yeah, I don't really know. Alliance as well. I think they just brought in Era towards the end of last year. That team was kind of average last year. I don't think Alliance did very much at all. So, you got them tomorrow. There you go. Absolutely smash them.
Ranked 115th.
Let's see.
Yeah, now they have changed Oper to Era, who was standing in for us during the last year, and I think he's pretty good. So we will see if they get better.
Now, Ryan, I still kind of think I know that with the Valve ranking, it's only updated on like the GitHub once a week, whereas like HLTV's got like the beta where it like goes up and down every single day. I kind of would like to see the Valve ranking be the new HLTV world ranking on all the match pages and everything.
Yeah.
Like, why are we like in broadcast now? I never reference the HLTV world ranking anymore. I'm only referencing Valve ranking because it's the only thing that really matters.
Yeah.
I just kind of look at the Valve one, and I just think, what insight is that giving us anymore? Now that we've got one that actually invites teams to tournaments.
Yeah, I guess because this used to be the metric, right? Like, if you if you were a TO, you'd look at the HLTV rankings and try and invite the smaller numbers, right? Like a game of golf. I think now, though, as you say, it's pretty pointless. Like, for me, Alliance being 115th in the world, well, yeah, sure, you know, that's cool. They're 115th, but that's according to HLTV. Like, that's just their speculation now. So maybe it will change in the coming months. Another change, Josh, that I'm dreading, but I'll silence my tongue regarding
fair
that.
enough.
Yeah, I think it's double elim. You guys play, as you say, Alliance tomorrow, 18 hours from now. So, you know, if you're watching live, make sure to check it out. One more event, I do believe, Josh, to discuss.
Yeah, just CCT. I know that you guys got invited straight into the playoffs, so obviously you won't be playing for a little while. But that's to go off of the conversation of being highly ranked in Europe. And you kind of look at the teams, right, and you go, ooh, like Ence's there, Heroic's there, Nine Pandas, Nemega, you got some big hitters, Passion UA, I know they made a couple of changes. And then BTN and his boys and Dragon and his boys are there. And it's like, this is where you can start criticizing the Valve ranking a little bit. I don't know. Would we, before this ranking came in, Ryan, ever see Nexus or Partisan getting invited to a playoffs of CCT? Come on, man. You can't tell me, like, there's any chance.
I think what's important, though, right, is the fact that, obviously, with these teams being so highly ranked, and obviously us saying there's some injustice with them getting invited, because this event is now ranked by Valve, if they lose, their points are going to go down, right? Especially for the likes of Nexus, who are, I think everyone would agree, ranked probably higher than they should be in terms, or at least they were ranked higher than they should be. If they lose a game, if they draw, you know, the likes of someone down here who is not as highly ranked in terms of you know, further down in the European or global ranking, you are going to lose a lot more points, and the other team's going to shoot up. So, as much as, you know, if you're laughing at Nexus or Partizan, if you're on those teams, you're probably shitting yourself because you know, your invite list is only going to be so long before you tumble far enough out of the rankings to you know, not receive any more. Which surprises me, by the way, that teams don't like try to play these kinds of tournaments when you think, you know, the calendar for the rest of this year with all those like what you've got the Cluj event, you've got Star Ladder, you've got Blast, you've got ESL. You know, there's a lot on the table now for especially for Tier 1 CS. It surprises me that you know, someone like Nexus, who is probably you know, point stealing on Mr. Valve's ranking, takes an invite like this. But maybe they farm and we look like absolute numpties, Josh. That is also
maybe they win the
a
tournament.
very fair possibility.
True. Yeah. Do you guys know when the playoff starts? Like, do you know when your first game is?
I think on 12th of February.
Oh, okay, so you got about another week. Yeah.
We have another week to practice.
Yeah, okay. I mean, look, it's nice to see some of the bigger names also drop down, right? I think a lot of the tier 1.5 squads would be a bit silly to not be participating. I know you can have the argument, well, if you lose, you're going to drop in rankings. But I think if you want to stay on that cusp, maybe a team like Heroic, where you kind of keep wanting to go to the IEMs and the PGO events, you kind of need to accept a few of these tier 2 online tournaments where you can push for grand finals and you can just keep the points basically equating up. And I think that only looks better for tier 2. I'm sure for forsyy, like when you guys as a team get to play more of like the Entsers, the Heroics, maybe like Eternal Fires, they start coming into these CCTs, it's got to be better for all the tier 2 teams to be playing against better competition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad we will have to play some matches, you know. It's like, I don't care actually about it too much. I just wanna play. And if we lose ranking because we suck, we deserve it, you know. But if we win, we deserve it as well, so it's gonna be just up to us, you know.
Yeah, I like that attitude.
Yeah, fair enough. Hopefully some points to be scored, and the rise continues. I do believe that's it for the roster for the events, Josh. I want to
that's it.
Talk about some roster changes as well, because my fucking god, there has been I feel like in every corner of esports there has been problems in Counter-Strike over the last couple of months. A lot of roster changes, a lot of interesting things, and one insane development here in the UK scene that has put us even lower in the pecking order of interest.
We'll start there, Ryan. I'd start with that one.
We'll say it how it is. ITB close its doors after £600,000 of embezzlement happens, which is absolutely fucking mental if you think about it. I mean, I think I saw the tweet. Obviously, Sam Slay the Minotaur, the CEO of ITB, said that they got like 2.1 million from the major, and then obviously they sold out to a Gamba sponsor, and they're seeing shit tons of money. And then when you hear that he's taken like 600-700k in directors' loans, that's like a quarter of your money just sunk into his back pocket, and then he's like, yeah, you don't get paid for your stickers, man, see you later, kind of thing. It's like, man, what the fuck?
I want to know how you've even spent 600k. Like, what? It was like, how do you even do that? Like, you can only have so many nights out, and there's only so much money you can spend on a night out. £600,000 is an insane amount of money to spend.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. What a joke.
It is pretty crazy. And obviously, we love UK companies because obviously, if you really want to, you can go on Company's House and you can see what's happening. Obviously, if you understand all of the lingo behind it, but a lot of documentation when it comes to sort of the dismantlement of companies and the dissolution of companies and things like that. It's all public. You know, you can search for it. It comes up. Life's good. So there'll be no doubts that in coming months there'll be a lot of legal stuff happening, as well as that, you know, there'll be a lot of speculation, and there'll be some, you know, lawyer genius on the internet that's interested in this case and will give us the Counter-Strike smoothbane scoop that we need to kind of understand what's going on. But yeah, I guess that's the mental side of things out of the way. some interesting changes as well to discuss, Josh. Anywhere that
Well,
you
I was
wanna
just going to make
sort
a
of-
quick point on the ITB.
Go on.
If you're not from the UK scene, you're probably not following it. But the guys that were a lot of the staff members from ITB have started up their own organization.
Yes, yeah.
So like the graphics people, the manager
Kuba,
people,
Big up.
socials. So look, hopefully they can build something because I think ITB. Look, it was a household name, and I think it's a real shame. I kind of want to ask you two actually about the players. Do you see any of them being picked up quickly? Because you've got Smuya the Orpa, you've got Kios, sort of like anchor kind of player, Red Star, bit of a hybrid, decent rifler. Raiko only just joined the team, which was a bit of a shame. I think he was playing with them for about a couple of weeks before this all came down. Do you see any of those getting picked up quickly?
I think Synopsy got back together with the old BNE
That's
boys,
right.
So
Yeah.
they already lost in game leader, even though I think they still got some official matches to play. I don't know what they want to do. I see that they have CCT tomorrow against Spirit Academy. Let me see who is there even. Still Synopsy, so maybe Synopsy is still playing with them. I don't know. And a part of Synopsy, I'm not really sure. I don't think Chaos is gonna get picked up. Neither is Moya. Maybe Red Star though. He was pretty decent. Maybe even before he got picked up into the ITB. But I don't know. I don't see any others getting picked up anytime soon now. And I think Smoya will also want maybe to focus on streaming.
Yeah, it's a tough situation all around. I mean, even with how good 500 looked towards the end of the year and the start of this year, there's no way that he'll go back to them.
No.
There's just no room for him. So you got to keep looking for international offers, and maybe you've just got to wait for the time to be right. But I think you've missed that time. I mean, we've just had the Christmas break off. Like that was the time to look for offers and join new teams, and that hasn't happened. Now, thinking about ECLOT, you were talking about Kreaz and Blitz earlier. They went over to create the new Sangle team. Now, I've actually looked at this team right on paper, and I thought, you know what? It actually looks all right. So you've got Kreaz, who's going to be in-game leading again. You've got Blitz as a star player. You've got Beanox, who we spoke about quite highly, I think, for the better part of a few episodes last year, about really consistent player, playing on Permitter and playing fucking Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays every single week on CCT. They brought in Calix as to be the anchor and to be the hard lurk on T-side. Man, that's a proper experienced player for like a tier 2 roster. Like, that's a great find to have someone like him. Ryan, do you think this team could do something in tier 2? What do you think?
I think it's really interesting because I kind of have Sangal on a similar page to like the Stiko and Oscar.
Really?
Team.
You have them
like
similar?
Not in terms of skill level, but sort of like how we want to perceive them heading into this. Because as much as I am happy to see, you know, the likes of Kreaz and Blitz back, obviously from when they had their time in ECLOT, Beanox as well, as you say, we had a lot of love and appreciation for him, and it's exactly the same narrative that we have for Oscar. He was a fantastic player on Sinners. Stiko had his time at Apex, was, you know, has been a household name in Counter-Strike for a while. But at the end of the day, you're able to scramble a few points together from different people for VRS, but it's the exact same problem as we were discussing at the start, where it's like if you're a new team that's just forming, there's only so high you can go with the VRS points that you have. The invites that you get, are you going to have yourself a chance in tier 2 CS? You know, as Replay said, every project that is now made has to be long term, because the moment you lose a player, you take a massive hit to your VRS points. And sort of how your sort of season goes. So it's like 6 months from now, you know, it might not be Sangal's fault, but we might not see Sangal in any events, because if they don't get the VRS points from the open quals and qualify to the big events there, then are they going to get invites consistently to CCTs and what have you? Probably not. I don't know. Like, I'm a big fan of it. I think you know, in terms of skill level, I favour them more than the Stiko Oscar team that we were talking about, like 100% day and night. I 100% favour them. But my problem is yeah, sure, it's a good team, but I think my main concern is maybe a more neutral perspective and just wants to enjoy the game for what it is like how do these guys break through into a tier 2 scene where, you know, they
Sure.
can be number 50, number 40 in Europe. They can consistently get invites to your CCT EU tournaments and what have you. Like, you are just reliant on open quals and hoping that all of the teams above you in the list are going to deny invites to tier 2 events. And
that's when they come, yeah.
And yeah, it's unlikely.
Yeah. I just want to add quickly, Danist as well was the AWPer, the one that used to play on BetBoom.
Yeah.
And then I think Space, he was on most recently. So forsyy, what do you think? Is his lineup going to cook this year?
Yeah, I think they have like a really good lineup, to be honest. I think Binox is really good. You know, Kras Blitz, they are a good duo. Calyx, as you said, he's experienced a lot and he can fill like any role basically. And Danist, I think he played rifle, to be honest. On
Yeah.
Red Bull.
So here's the funny thing. So he was an AWPer,
Change.
but when he went to BetBoom, because Zorti was on the team, he had the rifle, which was a bit strange why he'd pick up an AWPer to rifle. So then when he got kicked from BetBoom, he went back to AWPing, which is like, you know, every AWPer's always going to do that, aren't they? Every time they're like, oh, you get a rifle for a bit, they're like, nah, we're going back to AWP.
Yeah. I don't know about him, you know. I don't know. We played some matches against him, but I don't think he's like a talent or something. But you know, it's team game. We will see him. But as you said about invites, it's not easy for them because they have like 0 of those points, or you know, like they don't have the ranking. So I don't know. They just have to get somehow the invite for CCT through some qualifiers, or I don't know, some wildcard invite maybe, or I don't know how it works even. And yeah, so but as team, I think they will be pretty good. I know they have like Kras was really praising the coach. You know, they have Jumpy or someone.
Yep.
And yeah, I think Sangal they know how to make a good team. So yeah, I think they will be pretty decent.
I mean, at least they've kept Jumpy from the last iteration, because I think he's proved that, to be honest with the team that they had, that they probably pushed higher than what most people would have like looked at from the naked eye. And then obviously all those guys kind of got the call up to heroic. Going back into the local scene, Replay, I want to ask you about the Sinners move, because they've made quite a few changes like you have. They brought in Zedko, who used to be a part of the team. Peepo. Don't know him. I know that there was like this whole thing on Twitter about like how to say his name, and then he was saying, nah, you say it this way, and then whatever. But yeah, they got new coach and then Zedko and him. So what do you think of that move for them?
To be honest, when I heard first about it, I was a little bit like skeptical, but since seeing the results, I think they probably cooked pretty good. Like, it's no secret in the Czech scene that we tried to get Bisik into our team because, as I said, his contract was ending, and basically he had 3 choices. It was either us, Sinners, or Fnatic, who I can say now they were pretty interested in him, I guess. But that fell through. So then it was only between us and Sinners, and he still chose to stay with Sinners and rebuild there rather than join our existing core. So I was pretty sad when I heard that they are gonna just take back Zetko, who was there already before, and they removed him, and they take a rookie AWPer. Like here, I think he had a bigger chance to make the best Czech team that was available at the time. But since seeing the results, I think that he and Biful, the new coach previously from Sampe, I think they knew what they did, I guess, because it seems pretty good. They are beating really good teams, pretty convincing, and I was watching their games, and they are playing pretty fucking good, so good for them. I think those changes were really needed because they finally stopped taking like washed players and try to give a chance to the rookie guy. Which also, going back to Sangal, I always liked Sangal because they were the guys to scout like young people, you know, like their usual average team age was around like 20, maybe 21, 22, and where now I checked it's 25. So I think now they went for more experienced lineup, but before they were relying a lot on the young talent, which now they changed, and let's hope it's not gonna be their downfall.
Yeah. Well, talking about washed players, Ryan, B&E are back. So I wanted to get your point of view on them straight away.
Mine, personally.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Oh man. Look, I think without sort of crushing anyone's hopes and dreams too quickly. I mean, Josh, you knew how much of a fan I was of the B&E side, the 2 majors that they qualified to. I think your problem is the exact same thing that we were talking about when it comes to the other teams. Their magic came from playing in the open quals, going to RMRs, qualifying through RMRs to majors, and the whole meme around B&E was the fact that if they weren't making majors, they weren't playing in events because they could only qualify to majors, right? That was like their whole gimmick in CS. And now you look at it and it's like, well, good luck getting a direct invite to a major. And if you're not getting an invite, then, you know, you're going to be watching from the other side of the stage rather than sitting behind the monitors. And to me, it's like one of those where you think like you are just quite literally hoping, like just praying that something good happens of it. And it feels like very nostalgia based. It's like we're going to bring it back because we know that our fan base is strong. You know, financially, I guess there's not many people that took a hit, right? Like ITB crashing out, they lost 2 players there, whatever. Like, if you're gonna sort of bring the band back together, like this is the best time to do it. Obviously, Rigon leaving big as well. There's a little more experience. My main concern, as I said, is outside of a major. These guys, quite honestly, fucking sucked. And with the majors not being as open circuit as they were before, I have a feeling they are going to sit in the doldrums of Tier 2 Counter-Strike for a lot longer than the fan base will be hoping.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the timing of it being right. I mean, it is. You got like bench players and out-of-contract players. It makes sense. But this is delusional, mate. I mean, did you not see the last year they had under Guild Eagles and just how
awful.
terrible they were? Like, this actually reminds me a lot of the Dignitas team. You remember when like Freiburg and...
when they brought all like Forest back and all of that.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, mate, it's going to work. And it's like, really? You think that's going to work? And then it doesn't. And you go, oh, yeah, fucking who would have seen that coming?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, look, if they play together for, let's just say, a couple of months and offers come, they need to take those offers straight away. Like, do not stick with this 5 and decline offers. That's just my bottom line. I see these guys being absolutely shit in CS2. They are going to get fucking minced in Tier 2, Tier 3. They're going to get destroyed. They're going to get absolutely owned. B&E is not back whatsoever. And if they fancy coming on the show, come on then. But forsyy, what do you think? What do you think of B&E? They got any chance this year of doing something?
Don't be as ruthless.
I think CS is very different compared to when they were good, you know. They were playing off of feeling and energy, and now it's more like you need to think a lot. Like, not think a lot, but there are some principles you need to kind of stick to be a good team, and I don't think they care about it, you know. They just wanna, like, full energy smash someone, but it doesn't work anymore, unfortunately, so I think it's gonna be hard for them, you know.
Yeah. See, that's the way you should have said it, Josh. You know, like
sorry,
we need to take you to
yeah.
PL training because you have just made a whole nation of people incredibly angry. But I don't disagree. I think CS2 is a lot of catch up on like people hitting insane shots and getting quite lucky. And as forsyy said, like in Go, I think you can kind of get away with sort of momentum stomping people. In 2, it's very different because you lose a couple of rounds, a whole half can slip away from you. So you can't actually just play on good vibes and hope. I think that, you know, you have to think a little bit more, even down to the seconds within rounds of how you play the game. So yeah, I don't know. As you say, Josh, I think this is a perfect builder team for everyone to show how good they are at the game individually, or how not so if you're a couple of these players.
Well, I'd say just quickly, it's nice that they
offers.
don't have all this coaching staff. Like, remember what Guild Eagles was with fucking Devil Walk coaching and Crystal being the assistant coach and then KJ being... It's like, why the fuck's there so many assistant coaches? Like, what's going on? Why is there 3 people to coach 5 players? So I actually think if they just be like, yeah, fuck off, we don't need a coach, like, let's just fucking get in the server, we don't even need a prac, whatever, maybe they'll do better. But yeah, I don't really...
I agree with this. I don't understand why they took Devil Walk when, like, bro, they have like fully different culture. They're just running and smashing, and now they take coach who is gonna make structure and completely wanna change them, but you cannot change like these players, you know. You need to let them loose of their chains, and they will just destroy or lose. But you know, he just came in and I don't know, put some brain in them, and they just cannot play like this, you know. Like, you need to just let these guys play. I don't understand this like at all, why they take these coaches, like, I don't know.
And I think even after Guild Eagles, right, and B&E, like GXX and Senna, they haven't played for one pro team, right? I think that's been it. Like, Rigon went to big. Flatro went to ITB, and then Synopsy did as well. And I think that's kind of it. Like I don't think
No,
GXX
you are right.
or Senna did.
No, you are dead right.
So let's just see. It'd be nice to get them like straight away. Like as an example, European Pro League that you guys playing, mate. Fucking next European Pro League, just invite them straight away. Like because it's not Valve event. Let's just see what they're like. Like just
Yeah.
throw them in the deep end, get them in a group stage, and because it's not going to hurt their Valve ranking, mate. I think it's a perfect invite, and it will bring a lot of eyes to the product. I think a lot of people would be watching European Pro League, like the group stage as an example, just because B&E are playing. I think it's a really good idea for those kind of tournament operators to bring them in the circuit.
But will the Counter-Strike live up to the expectation of the old BNE? I don't think so. Anything else we're talking about, Josh, in terms of changes?
I want you to bring up James' stats in the last month because
the
Paravision
change.
made some changes. They got rid of Art Frost and James came in. Now everyone at the time's thinking, oh mate, like that's it's a decent upgrade. You've just brought in a major winner, in-game leader, and Orpa, and then he joins the team and he's not in-game leading, and you're like, it's a bit strange. But I tell you what, he's fucking cooking. He's doing well, mate.
Yeah.
His numbers have been insane. So yeah, maybe James off of the call-in and just being there to frag is what Paravision needed.
I mean, this is ridiculous, isn't it? Like in the last month, the only times he's gone negative is in a BO3 2-0 loss against Sinners, and every other time he has been in the green in terms of ranking. He's played well, and I'll be the first to admit that I fucking hated James in VP because I thought it was boring CS to watch. I mean, obviously, in terms of being a mind in Counter-Strike, he's very much up there, and he was a very good in-game leader. But I think in terms of viewership experience, everyone was on the same boat that James was, the sort of thing that you put on to fall asleep to. He's come to Paravision. He's and I respect it as well because I think after he won a major and being so successful in Tier 1, if you're any other Tier 1 player, I think in his position, you probably wait for another offer to come in. He decides immediately he's not even he's gonna relinquish IGL duties. He's dropped down, I would argue, a whole tier in Counter-Strike.
No,
going
definitely.
From Tier 1 to in the middle of the pack Tier 2 team, and he's playing unbelievable CS.
Yeah. Well, have you guys seen them in Prague at all? Have you got to play this new Paravision team?
Yeah, we got to brag them.
We played
Yeah.
Dust and we got like 21-3 wrecked or something. So, but
Really?
it was bro, it is.
So they're back. They're back. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but I think it's a really good move from Jim. I like when he doesn't wait for Tier 1, but instead he joins like team where he's comfortable. He's playing with Kicker, with players he likes. And it's actually much harder, I think, to play these Tier 2 tournaments and win against everyone than to join some Tier 1 team. I think this will improve him maybe as a player even, he will be in shape. And when he gets some opportunity to play Tier 1, I think they will win. I think they have really strong individual players. And they have the brain to beat Tier 1 teams because Jam, because Kicker, I think this was a really, really good decision from Jam.
I think it's been a bit of a shame with Paravision as a whole because they've had some big name players for the better part of the last few iterations. I know Patsy was in there, Jerry was trying to work the team, like ECLOT was there, X5. Like you had a couple of the big name Russian players, and they just never really got it to work. And then now it's basically instant success. They smashed Monty 2-0 in that grand final in a CCT. So now we'll get to see if they're like a constant deep runner in the playoffs of the majority of these tournaments. Travis, who used to play on One Win out on Amcal, he also joined up with them. And then Nota, who was a part of that team as well, used to be on Rush B earlier. He's made that move over. So on paper, I think the lineup looks pretty good. I'd like to see consistently what their placements look like, but I think a positive start to the year for Paravision for sure.
Definitely, I'm excited, and I think it's as we were saying, like it's a big eye opener because everyone thought James was just a player where he was AWP in game leading on VP, and he was always trying to set himself up, right? And he was always happy to play for himself and save and do this and do that. And now he's coming to Paravision. He's letting Kickert take the reins, and he's actually doing better than before when everyone thought he was, sort of a self-centered AWP IGL combo that wanted to just make himself the spotlight of the team. And it's awesome to see. I'm very happy to see James doing well. I think what other things have we got? Like BC Game, that amazing team. Did we talk about the tweet that I saw?
Go on then, yeah.
So I don't know how legitimate this is, because as BC Game they are still a team that's functioning. But I remember seeing on Twitter that BC Game, obviously as a casino, right, was shutting down because they had no money, right?
I did see this as well.
And I thought to myself, oh well, that's unlucky. You know, more people are gonna hit the deck, and this is a little bit before ITB, so I thought it's all falling like dominoes at this point. But they seem to still exist, and not only that, like they actually have like a pretty decent team in terms of names, right? Like they have
Yeah.
unbelievable names. And I'm like, it's actually incredible to see this team as a whole. But it's the same story as everywhere else, right, Josh? It's like how are we gonna get to the top of tier 2 and
Well,
start
their
pushing?
ranking I think is quite good, no?
I can
have a
have a
quick
look
look.
now. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
having
go
a
on then.
look. I wanted to see how the points worked, and I was gonna bring it up.
It's not
but
that great, actually. No.
is it not? If I check,
it's
if you
99th at the moment.
in the world, okay, well,
Yeah,
there
in the
you go,
world,
yeah.
yeah.
BC, yeah,
Oh,
100.
100. There you go. Yeah, not that great actually.
Okay, well, you know, some grinding to be done. But I will say, this is like an insane team. They've obviously picked up the combo that went from Bleed, right, in Jacob Nork. Then you've got
Well, you got Kakanito to make the Apex core.
yeah, see, there you have it. And then obviously Guardian. I mean, okay. And Lecro.
Well, yeah. So he just got kicked. Guardian got kicked for Nork to come in.
Yes.
And then Prime Taps is like anchor lurk player.
Yeah,
you
you
got
are
some
right.
decent like star riflers in Jacob and Kakanito, Lecro to be in game leader. I think on paper this team looks pretty good. Have you guys played them like recently or pracked them at all?
Yeah, we pranked them. I think we won.
Yeah,
They
I
were,
think so.
I don't know, not so good to be honest, but
Yeah.
it was just practice, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. They picked up Cube as well, like recently. Last couple of months as the coach. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's nice when you get reunions, especially with how successful Apex were before basically the whole project just died, really, didn't it? So yeah, we'll keep an eye on these guys. They'll be, I suppose, at 99th. They'll probably be CCT closed qualifier teams, won't they? They won't be main Swiss, not at that level.
No,
I don't know.
maybe
I
not
think
even
this
that.
Prime Taps guy actually is really like pretty good. I think maybe this Prime Taps guy is best from their team actually. Every time we played him in like even like some months ago, he was their best player always. So actually, it's interesting. You know, you have kinda not legends but pretty experienced players, and Prime Taps the guy who no one would think he's the best. Like he's the best from their team, I think, or at least I think it personally.
Yeah, well, Thomas
So-
picked him up on that 5W team. Do you remember that Indian organization that had Joel and Han and Thomas and Prime Taps? I'm like, oh, mate, this Red Star as well. And then, yeah, it just died after like
2
a week or
minutes.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It fell hard. Anything else we want to talk about, Josh?
Yeah, the Inner Circle team. Couple of local players to your scene. Oscar and Sticker. I know you're talking about it briefly, Ryan. You've got Krasnal, who was most recently on Monty. You've got QQ, who I haven't seen since Mao's NXT. I don't know if he's still been playing in like the lower divisions, but I haven't seen him play. And then Fessor, who's another like star Danish rifler, played on Endpoint for a bit, played on Astralis Talent. What do you think of the team? I've got to be honest. The social media around it looks pretty good. The whole announcement video, the whole graphics they've got. But I don't know. This team, I think if we're comparing this lineup to Sangor's lineup, I don't even think it's close between the two. Honestly, Replay. What do you think?
I think they tried their best with the resources that they could get. Like,
Yeah?
because I also listened to Stiko's video. Like, I think they have pretty good way of doing things. Like, they are not even expecting to make the Austin Major or to be even in hell top 50. You know, they are just trying to even get through the open qualifiers now to get some VRS, and then they probably will try to change players. But for now, it is what it is, and they tried to get a mixture of players who are experienced and also young and hungry. At least that's from what Stiko said, and I think that Stiko is pretty intelligent guy, at least from what he says in the videos, and I think I talked to him even in some local LAN or something, and I think he's pretty smart. So I'm happy that he finally took in-game leader role, because I'm not sure how smart he is in the game, because you need to be pretty like pretty smart being game leader, and you need to have a certain type of personality. So I'm not sure how that is gonna work out. I think we will just have to see. But I'm happy that he gave it a shot, and I would hope that someday he would come back to even Czech team, so he would try to make it work with Czechoslovakian lineup as an in-game leader because he has a lot of experience. When it comes to Oscar, that guy was fucking farming towards the end of 2024, so they got pretty fucking good offer for very cheap, I think, because like Sinners, they maybe made it look like they sold him or something, but I don't think it was really a big buyout amount. I think we are talking maybe in thousands of euros or something. So Oscar was a steal for them. He's gonna be the firepower of this team if everything else fails. So with him they did pretty good, and I think Oscar also maybe like he's 33. That's his that's the like I guess negative part for the organizations when looking at him, but I think he deserved a much better chance. He should be on Fnatic lineup, to be honest, and he would be farming even there. But I understand that those like tier 1 organizations, they are looking at the future as well. They are not looking only at right now. But if I was in Fnatic management, I would maybe say to myself, we need to start being good fucking now. So let's take Oscar, he will carry us, and then maybe we can change him for someone who is really promising instead of taking Burmilov, who was 105 on Mouse NXT. Even though he actually was playing kind of good with this Fnatic roster, but I think there were just better options to pick up. And also, when you talked about, who was it? BC game. I think when we talk about them, they are also the prime example of bad management, to be honest, because they are taking all the experience. That's one thing, but they are taking names from CS:GO and think it's gonna make them make them worthy again in CS2. But this game is completely different. And if you look at the dangerous organization names in tier 2 scene, it's usually like Sangal, it's Aurora, it's Paravision now. And if you see the pattern between these organizations, they always take some Russian kid from Face It with 4000 elo, and this guy comes and starts to farm HLTV as well. Paravision, they got good now because they finally gave a chance to this not a guy who is like 120 rating or something.
Yeah.
And the same for Aurora, they kicked Deco, who was apparently maybe decent, but he, I don't know, was probably not happy playing the game. Now they got Griggs, who is 125 rating, Russian kid, 18 years old, playing 150 hours a week. Like those people, I don't think, like when I look at those teams like Inner Circle or BC Game, I don't think those people are putting in as much hours. And that's what makes the difference in CS2, because I still think the game is a lot different what it was, what CSGO was. Like this game is very different. Even with Oppers now, you see that people like forsyy, who are good hybrids, or I don't know, maybe for example Zaivu got boosted a lot because they are good hybrids. They are not only Oppers. And people like Device, who were really good with Op but not so good with rifle, they little bit like fell behind. So now the game is very different, and you kind of need those young guys who are putting in a lot of hours to even motivate the other guys. I don't think there is anyone like this except for Prime Taps in BC game.
Yeah.
And I hope that there is somebody like this in the circle lineup. Like if the QQ guy or Fessor is, because I don't see Oscar, coming in and playing 120 hours a week. So I just hope that they figure it out before. They thought about this aspect as well. And as I said, I think Stico is a smart guy, so I will give them the benefit of the doubt that they might be good. But still, it's gonna be fucking insanely tough for them to grind the VRS points, because there is so many type of those projects. There is even there is the Sangal project, there is them, and there is probably like 10 others that that we don't have in the top of our heads right now.
Sure.
And all of them are gonna compete for the, as you said, 2 spots per 2 months in any kind of Valve ranked event. So I think most of those projects will just close down after the year. I don't see a good future for them.
Yeah.
Even though the players might be good and the team might be good, they might not have the opportunities to show, because those open qualifiers, they are so fucking random. You could see when there were open qualifiers for the major how many like good names and big teams have failed.
Yeah. I actually kind of thinking about that, Ryan. I wonder towards the end of the year. Obviously, you need a year of sample size, right, to really see how things go. But I'd like to see potentially Valve stepping in and saying, right, for 2026, there's a certain amount of open qualifiers and closed qualifiers that have to be run. because of the divide. I mean, again, we might have to see. I know that Cluj LAN for PGL's got quals, so it might actually be that there's enough qualifiers for some of these teams, but I feel like without actually seeing them being run, it's difficult to make a lot of judgment on it. Thinking of Fnatic, obviously Fear went over there to be the new in-game leader, which meant Passion basically got stripped of their team a little bit. So S-Chiller's gone. They bring in Kavem, who I think both you and I, Ryan, for the better part the last 12 months, 24 months, have said he's an extremely good rifler and just got basically trapped in jail out there on ECLOT. But I don't know. I mean, Topper as the in-game leader, someone that played on Na'Vi Junior, I think it could be tough. It might take a few months for Passion to even get towards the top end of Tier 2 again. forsyy, have you seen this new Passion team at all?
Yeah, I think Vem is a really good player, to be honest. But I think Topa, like Fear was much better, you know. Like one thing, he was really grinding with, like even with Smuya's team, if you remember, he played with Smuya, then he joined
That's
Passion
right.
UA. He was grinding a lot, like officials they were playing a lot, and I think he's like he made himself really good IGL throughout time. And Passion UA, like I think he was the main pillar of the team. I think he was really good IGL. And with Topa, it's gonna be different. The guy, he didn't play for a long time. I think, I don't know how long, maybe a year he didn't play, you know, in some team. And it's just really hard to change IGL, you know. The players in Passion UA, they were already comfortable with Fear, and now it's like different, you know. But they have Jumbo, who is like insane OPER, I think. But you see with Topa, he is not playing good at all. It's like, or I don't know, but I saw like 2 matches or something. He was not playing as like to his standard, you know. And you see, you just change IGL, and it's like completely different player.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that's it's gonna take some time for them to be good again. But they have Quem, I think he's really good, and yeah, Jumbo also really good. So if they make it work, they will be good.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
I think the only other one, Ryan, was just a little UK one. Alaska, which is basically the ex Viperio Verdant lineup. Leaf is gone and Tree is in. We'll get to see them at Epic LAN in a couple of weeks. I think that's their tournament to win, basically. So if they're not winning that LAN, that would be looked at as a disappointment. I think they've actually been playing quite a lot of the CCT closed quals. I know they've had some struggles there. But just trying to get their licks in, I suppose, with some of the Valve ranking tournaments to get officials under the belt. And then the last one, just quickly, Gaming Gladiators obviously dropping their lineup. I casted a lot of their games in the back end of last year. Incredibly disappointing. Dropped off massively since when they were ecstatic and made it to the major. And a lot of them have not found teams since getting dropped. And you wonder, Queenix, Nodius, Roy and Nikodos, when do offers start coming in and who do they go to? I mean, TSM, Sashi, they've all been making a few changes, but none of them are coming from the Gaming Gladiators squad. So I actually wonder how difficult it might be for some of those Danish players who could play at a top-end Tier 2 level. Do they just look for international offers again, at least for Roy and Nikodos? I don't know.
Yeah. Tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's one that you can't really speculate all too much on, because
Not really.
They should form a team with Huxi, to be honest. Again, you know, it was Copenhagen Flames. They were really
Bring
good.
it back.
Yeah.
I think they might be good, you know. Like Roy was in his best form when he played with Huxi, you know.
It's true.
Nikodas was also, I think, best when he played with him. And if they took two good Danish players who will just listen to the calls and play for team, they might be good. But it's hard. I just hear every like organization is canceling, you know, or how we say, like it's disbanding. It's pretty sad, to be honest. It's
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all the roster changes, Ryan.
The last bit of the show, my favourite part, and it gets forsyy and replay thinking about the broader Counter-Strike scene in Tier 2. This is the Tier 2 Dream Team, I guess, for both of you, forsyy and replay. We're going to ask you to make your dream teams. So you're going against one another. We're going to start with forsyy. You can only pick people in the Tier 2 scene. forsyy will pick someone. You can pick yourself, and you can pick one more teammate on top of that. So you can pick 2 people technically within your team, and then no more. And you'll go back and forth. So forsyy can pick one, replay you'll pick one, but you can't pick the same person. So if forsyy picks Nilo, replay can't pick Nilo. If and it only has to be tier 2. That's the rule. So
Okay.
there you have it. forsyy, you want to start us off with your
Yeah.
first player that you're picking for your tier 2 dream team?
I'll pick Beastic. It's an IGL.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
When it comes to IGL, I would pick.
I need to check HLTV for some players.
Yeah, I'm checking. When it comes to IGL, I would actually take Rabeni from Navi Junior. I think he is the. in-game
Rabeni,
format.
yeah.
Yeah, I think he has been pretty promising.
Intriguing. We've had Makazi get picked a couple of times, haven't we? I don't think we've had anyone else from Navi Junior recently get picked though.
Yeah, but he has pretty fucking good stats for being an IGL, and I watching a lot of their demos. They have a pretty good playstyle. I think we are copying them a bit.
Okay.
So I would take him. I think he's the next kicks, and I think he's gonna go to tier 1 soon.
All right, there you hear it.
I'll take Mattis.
Hmm.
It's tier 1? Or? It's like not tier 2, right?
And that's
I think Josh personally.
I would be happy to let this one slide.
I
think
think-
I don't
I
really
think-
see Fnatic as tier
I
1
was
right
gonna
now.
say, if someone asked me right now, like one question, is Fnatic tier 1? I'd say no. So
Yeah, I'm happy to let it, but that's like on the cusp, you know. That we
Yeah,
have
that
to
is-
think about that one.
that
Yeah,
is close, damn close.
I take Yosuke.
Kyosuke. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty boring, but he's just.
Yeah.
James farmed him the other day though. He humbled him. Yeah.
But this guy always humbles out on practice somehow. Like when we play Spirit Academy, even though like we win versus them, this guy is usually like 25 kills, and the next guy behind him is like 10 kills or something.
I think he didn't play good actually when we pragged them. Yeah,
I
he
don't
never played
remember
good
actually.
against
We
us.
pragged them recently, but on HLTV he's doing pretty fucking good.
I will take Binox next.
Beanox.
Okay,
Yeah.
Beanox. Yeah, we rate him. Decent pickup.
Okay, so this is like a lurker player, right? What is Binox? What is his role?
It's
even?
anchor.
Okay.
Like ramp player on Nuke, for example, or something like this.
Yeah.
He hits hard, that's for sure.
Okay, when it comes to anchor, I would still take Dieter. I'd take my one pick from the team.
Yeah, we call him Dietor in the English broad. Maybe we need to change it right.
No, I call him
Dietor. I don't know if
Dietor.
I like that one.
I call him Detour.
Oh,
Do you?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
you being a fucking Aussie and not knowing how to say anything English correctly.
Even though
Just call him Brickhead or something. Stone, you know?
even though his stats might not show it, I would just like to praise him a bit because like when I came to the team 2 years ago, he was the type of player who played like superstar. He was a connector and these type of positions, but like he's not that good at having ideas, but he's really fucking good at shooting. This guy has insane aim. So now, like when I came in, I put him on anchor positions, and like he might not have the best stats, but he's like one of I think the best anchor players in tier 2 right now. Like he does a lot for us, like he sacrifices a lot for the team, and his stats might fuck his reputation between someone who just checks, but I can say that he's doing a lot for us.
Yeah, okay, nice. What are you thinking now, forsyy?
I'll take Nubik. I think I have pretty strong team.
Who you taking?
NBQQ Nubik.
Oh
It's
yeah,
Nubik.
MBQ.
My teammate. Like Nubik, Everyone is saying NBQQ, but it's like noob.
Nubik.
Yeah, it's like noob, like noob, but you just add ick, It's like Nubik.
Oh well, how the fuck are we meant to get that?
The more you
That's
know,
just
I guess.
troll, That's just troll.
Every
He's been
day's a
on-
learning
he's been
day.
on ECLOT for so long. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Okay, when it comes to lurker, like if it was 1 month ago, you guys would probably allow me. I would take PR. He's playing lurk spots, but now he got picked up in Gamer Legion, so I'm not sure if it counts still. But PR is really fucking great on
That's
lurk.
tier 1, bro. That's tier 1. No chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
this is a
Game
good
of Legion players now. Yeah, I think. What do you think, Ryan? That's like on the fence as well, isn't it?
I think if we're gonna allow Matties, because it's the same thing. It's
Nah,
like if you,
it's not. No,
if you, if you
no,
ask me
can't
though,
make that
if you ask
comparison.
me, is Gamer Legion a tier 1 team, or if I ask you, Josh, do you wholeheartedly believe Gamer Legion is a tier 1 team?
Yeah, but they did make the major, and they're at Katowice.
Does that qualify you for tier 1?
Eh, I don't know. That's
I
a,
mean,
that's a,
Fnatic,
that's a,
you know,
Fnatic lived there for like 3 years, and we relegated them to
It's
tier
true.
2.
It's
so
true. Maybe I reckon replay makes the call here. Can
but
we accept the Gamer Legion player? What do you think?
But PR was not part of the lineup that made them get invited to Katowice and all those tournaments. You know, he just joined the existing core. So I think
That's
we-
true.
we could kind of choose him. He's
Yeah. All right.
just
Let's
good work.
yeah. Let's let it slide then.
was it PI? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you were coaching him on Cryptova, right? Replay.
yeah,
Is this?
yeah. We
Yeah,
brought him. Basically, he was playing on a local team, like not salary team, and we brought him on when he was like 14 years old. He was going to still elementary school, you know, and we were waiting for him to come, and so we could play after. While we tried to call ourselves a full-time team, you know, but he was so fucking good and so promising that we made the sacrifice to wait for him to come home from the elementary school and play with us. And I don't know, this guy is just like his rise is skyrocket, you know. Like we picked him up on Cryptova, and he was playing with good local players, you know, who were much better than him. But in 2 months, he bested all of them. He was by far the best out of the team. And same thing. Then he went to Mouse and XT when Cryptova sold him, and I think the same happened there. Like I think he was their best player, even though Syrah and Krisen got picked soon. I think PR was still the best player there in terms of how he understands the game and what he brings to the team. And I'm curious to see whether it will happen in GL as well. Like they brought him as a like a talent, you know, like you are never sure whether those players will perform in tier 1, but so far he's been, I think, pretty good. And I wanna see if he can make like, because GL is like tier 1.5 is the team that Vitality picks from or Mouse picks from or whoever you might say, you know, Navi.
Yeah.
So let's see whether he can make the cut even here and go to the real tier 1, because I think he can. I think he's pretty good.
Fair enough. Yeah. It's interesting that you went from playing in sandpits to being on Gamer Legion.
Gamer
it's
Legion's
even-
they need a case study, man. With how much that lineup's being picked apart, and for them to stay as successful as they are, Ash has done incredibly well. I
Yeah.
mean, what Rez is only just joined. PR's been there. Torsen joined just before the RMR, at Shanghai, and then even ZTR. I mean, he was playing on Metasport this time last year. So
Yeah.
it really is a pretty fresh looking lineup, and they can still keep pushing towards the higher end.
They have really good fucking scouting. I know how they work, and they are insane. Like their business model is insane. You know, they take young motivated guys, they make the best out of them, and then they sell them, and they
Yeah.
then continue to repeat the process. You know, that's just really fucking cool.
I think it's all about coach and IGL. You know, if you have these two combo, like you can make any team good. I think if you take some individually strong Opera rifler, you can make good team. You just need good IGL and good coach. I think when you have good structure, make it easy for the players. I think not anyone, but who has enough individual skill and talent can shine. But if you have bad IGL with good players or bad coach and IGL, you will not make the players shine. They will just suck, you know, because you cannot unlock them, if you know what I mean. I think it's like team is really about IGL and coach, like 60% or 70, you know.
Yeah, I think the same. Like the IGL coach combo is the most important thing actually. So
All right, how are we finishing off this lineup? You picking yourself here, Forsyy?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
Of course.
He's in.
He's in. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic that you've got 4 local players and then just a Polish fella. Like, I feel like getting Pinox out of there and just getting another local person will help the comms quite a bit.
He can speak Polish, bro. You know, it's the same. He will just say kurwa, you know, and he will understand. It will be very easy, bro. I think. It's like Demq in Monte, you know.
Yeah, it is. That's it. Yeah. All right. What do you think, Ryan? In comparison to the lineups?
Well, we're waiting
Oh, we
on
still need
no?
one more. Yeah,
Replay
no,
needs
hang
to
on.
give one more.
I need one more Opera from tier 2 who is farming. So I would probably take Grix from Aurora now. He's
Yeah.
making a fucking career leap as well. You know, he was playing Face It Premium 3 days ago, and suddenly he's playing for Aurora. Like those guys were pretty fucking insane even in their academy roster. We were playing them all the time in those EPLs and United type of events, and that guy was insane even back there, I think. And now he's insane again in the main team. So good for him. I remember even when you guys talked about Nir before, like how he made his career leap as well to heroic. You know, he was just a stand-in and suddenly
Yeah.
he did so good and he's playing there. Like those players, you guys cannot understand how good they are in tier 2. Like we were thinking that the Nir's team is 100% cheating when we played against them 3 times, and even I had other teams reaching out to me if we think they are cheating. There was like 4 5 teams reaching out to me that like they must be cheating or something. Like I don't know actually if they are, but Nir has made it to heroic and he's replicating his success in tier 1. So good fucking for him.
Yeah.
I think Griggs is gonna be the next case. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think forsy's lineup has a bit more chemistry, but also look at the other one,
Yeah.
and I mean, PR, Kiyasuke. I don't know. I think the comms are just
bro-
fucked on this one, bro. Like, I think
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's talking on this team.
Bro.
There is just no communication whatsoever. But maybe I don't know. Just shoot and hit. I think I got to back forsy's team on this one. I think it's just a bit more chemistry going.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Bro, PR would get tilted from Griggs and ReTr for sure, I know it. So we would win easily, bro, I know it. He would be full tilt from ReTr not speaking when they go execute or something. For
I
sure.
think, as you say, Josh, I think if language didn't exist and everyone spoke perfect English, then Replay's team, I think would definitely win. But
Yeah.
you know, that's the way of life. Josh has picked.
I reckon they win in the
Forsy's
next
team.
tip sport, like play zone, like get me one of them fucking lands. Forsy, just bring this team, bring B-Nox over, go up against ECLOT, you'll beat Sinners, mate. Just free money, really. That's what it
Absolutely,
is.
He just needs to take basic from Sinners, bro, you know, that's the problem.
All right.
like Force's team look more coherent, I guess. I just picked the best players out of tier 2, but actually if I had to pick dream team from tier 2, I would just say Game Legion whole lineup. Like except for Rez,
Whole
they have
team.
all been considered tier 2, I think, up until like maybe 1 year ago. And
Yeah.
suddenly they are fucking beating Baus and playing so good in Katowice. So like their team is inspiration to others, I think, that it can be made possible. They have like everything going for them now.
A real strong team. Thank you very much, gents, for joining us. The dream teams are over, and with that, our episode. I think if you're watching on YouTube, probably already played their game, but you can go and check them out if you're watching live tomorrow in that playoff run, of course, against Alliance. Thank you very much, gents, though, for joining us. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, thank you for inviting us, and yeah, it was nice talking to you guys.
There we go.
Thank you for having us, and let's hope we made some good impression on others from tier 2 who are watching the podcast.
There you go. Hopefully so. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.